because I was riding in a car with my buddy, and he hydroplaned on the water and went over and had a head-on collision. And I've got a broken ankle and a messed up hip, and I'm wondering, how much is his insurance liable for my injuries as a passenger in his vehicle?
Okay. All right, Darius, I'm going to let you.
Tricky.
It is rather tricky. So in the state of Alabama, there's a statute called the guest passenger statute. And essentially what that statute states is that if you are a passenger in a vehicle and you get injured, with a driver, you can't sue that driver. All right. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. Okay. The first exception being negligent supervision. Okay. If the driver has a child in the car, and say that driver doesn't have the child buckled up or doesn't have him in the back seat or something like that, and the child gets injured, the child can have a case against the driver. One of the other exceptions is if the driver receives some sort of payment or benefit from the passenger, much like a Lyft or an Uber. If a Lyft driver and an Uber driver injures you in a vehicle, you may have a claim against them. Okay. Now it gets a little murky with benefit, because what exactly is a benefit that a driver can receive from a passenger? I've seen a case before where, the passenger of a vehicle got into the vehicle for the sole purpose of telling the driver how to get somewhere, right? And the insurance company, at first they bucked against it, but they ended up finding that that passenger had a claim against the driver because she provided a benefit to that driver. And so that's one of the exceptions. And the other exception is willful or wanton conduct. If the driver's a drunk driver, if the driver purposefully drives off the road and causes the accident, anything like that, you can get past that guest passenger statute. Now, obviously, I don't know all the details of this particular case, but if any of those exceptions apply, then you may have a cause of action against your friend.
Yeah, I mean, if he's driving recklessly, and I think he said he was raining real hard, and they hydroplaned.
Yes.
You got to go at a reasonable speed. 5 miles an hour, 7, 10 miles an hour, that may still be in negligence mode. But once you get, if he's still hauling tail, in doing 75 and a 55, that gets you to that level that Darius was talking about, that willfulness or wantonness, that recklessness that may get you over Alabama's guest passenger statute. So what we always tell folks is, if you get in the car and you're going somewhere, or let's say that somebody comes and picks your daughter up for school every morning, pay them a little gas money. Give them $5, give them $10. Best thing to do would be to send it by Venmo or something like that, so there's actually a record of it. And that way, insurance coverage will be triggered, okay? And I know that I do that anytime I get in the car, and if we're going a long distance, let me fill you up your tank of gas, if we're driving, somewhere. And it's because Alabama's law is messed up, and I want my kids to be protected, and it's just the way it goes.
Exactly.